What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Call Up presented by Heineken. Jillian Sakovitz alongside my dear friend and colleague, Susanna Collins.
What's up, girl?
Hi, glowing gal. What's going on?
I know, just basking in the summer sun and the MLS is back tournament. That's
Yeah.
all. That is life right now. That's
Yeah,
it.
you are. Two other people basking in the Orlando sun is Jordan Morris and Tommy Thompson. They are our guests today. Two teams, Seattle and San Jose, will be going on to the knockout stage of the MLS
Yes,
Back
indeed.
tournament. Jordan Morris is the U.S. soccer darling and part of Seattle, a perennial favorite. And then on the other side of the coin, Suze, you've got San Jose and Tommy Thompson. This is a team that, as he'll tell us, thrives as the underdogs, even though I'm not sure for much longer under Matias Almeyda we can be calling this team the underdog. So it was incredible to get both sides of the coin.
What a show. What a show
we
have.
nailed this one, I gotta say.
I know. I'm really, really excited. I'm kind of like patting ourselves on the back here. But of course, Jordan Morris just, coming off an incredible 2019 season. Seattle kind of getting their footing after that 3-0 win against Vancouver. And then San Jose, which has been one of the surprise stories of the tournament. They win Group B. And a lot of people kind of jumping on that San Jose train. So we're going to talk to Tommy about that. But yeah, two awesome guys. We've got such a fun show. I feel like it's been a couple weeks, so I feel like we've got so much to say and so much to talk about. But should we get to hear for this? Because there's a lot. So let's start it off with here for this. And this is I can't even overstate how here for this we are. NWSL is going to the City of Angels, baby. Just announced. It is called the We Are Angel City, which is just like the coolest name ever. And Jill, can we talk about
the graphics, everything, like the light pink, the black, the white? It is so cool.
The ownership group as well. I mean, this is like a who's who of soccer and Hollywood combined into one. We've got Jessica Chastain, Natalie Portman, Abby Wambach, Julie Foudy, Eva Longoria, Serena Williams.
Can we have her on the call up, you think?
Let's put in the request now. Honestly, let's get any of those.
Me and
ladies.
We've been trying to get her. Like,
yes.
Who's listening? Come on, ladies. We want to have you on. Another exciting announcement for a team to be determined is Charlotte MLS. They have been on the regular, crossing a name off of their list. They're letting the fans vote for
I love
the
this.
So here's what's left in Charlotte 2022. Carolina Gliders FC, Charlotte Athletic FC, Charlotte Crown FC, Charlotte FC. No, God, no. Please not Charlotte FC. And Charlottetown FC. Okay. You know how I feel. Charlottetown FC. Oh, the phone.
We are also here for house
This is what happens when you're in your. This is what happens when you're in your parents' basement. Times are rough, people. But anyway, I like Charlottetown FC minus the FC. Charlottetown. To me, it sounds a little British. Like I could see this being like a Premier League name. Chill out with the FCs. We had our FC wave. They were great. Minnesota United FC, Atlanta United FC. Oh my God, LAFC. I am over it.
Yeah,
Charlottetown. Like, give me that cozy feeling.
That FC does feel. The FC definitely feels like it's been exhausted. I think
get it. You're a football club.
American soccer.
I
just want to say one thing before I give my choice. I absolutely love that Charlotte is doing this and that they are allowing the fans to select because this is ultimately going to be their team. This is their city. This is their club, and they are going to be the supporters. And so I love that they are utilizing their fan base and the people that it's going to matter to the most to gauge their opinions. I think it's fantastic. So I do love Charlottetown because it's simple, it's crisp, there's something really just kind of cool and understated about it. But there's another one that I really love, and it's Charlotte Crown. Yeah. And I don't even want the FC. But Charlotte is the Queen City. That is the nickname. And so the crown, as kind of honoring the nickname, there's just it's regal. It's cool. And we know we don't see anymore. Like, we don't have like the Quakes or the Fire, like those were like the OG names, like actual kind of mascot-y type of names.
Yeah.
You don't get that
good.
anymore. And so I like Charlotte Crown. I just think it's unique. I think it's very cool, very unique, very specific to Charlotte.
If you're listening, just no FC, please, Charlotte. Something else that I have been here for in this moment of living life without fans in the stadia. We see them on the big boards. It's fun to see people kind of get caught off guard when they're on the Zoom you can log into and reacting. It's a lot of fun to see the fans sitting up there on the digital boards during the MLS's back tournament. But some teams like New England, Chicago, San Jose, they've kicked it up a notch and they've had drive-in watch parties that you can bring your car like it's the drive-ins, bring your own popcorn, I guess, bring your own beer, and just chill out and watch it on the mega board in the stadium. I think it's adorable. Cool. I love seeing the kids on the roof. Suze, would you rather be in the stadium or on your couch?
Ooh. I mean, I think because I've clocked so much time on my couch.
Get me off my couch, please.
Like, let me go do something else. And honestly, like I'm from Chicago, and they did a really cool viewing, that sort of drive-in atmosphere at Soldier Field. And the backdrop of the city, and it was beautiful. It was a gorgeous night. And I thought that is such a cool way to watch a game. What a unique fan experience. And
Get me off my couch.
I'm all about it. I think
it's a social really,
really
way.
Cool.
Get me off my couch.
Yes, exactly. Let's all be safe while we do it. But I think it's a very, very cool, unique experience. So, yep.
Also, something we've seen is teams and players doing protests both individually, whether it's with jerseys and names on their jerseys, or together, obviously opening night, kneeling at the first whistle, but also teams have their own different Black Lives Matter armbands. We talked so much, Suze, in June about how are we going to keep the conversation going about Black Lives Matter as the sports start to heat back up. And just let's give like a little round of applause to the teams and the league that have kept it front and center. And we're continuing the conversations and continuing, hopefully, to raise awareness. It didn't go away after opening night.
And it's really, I like you said, I just give so much credit to the players and the clubs for keeping this conversation going. I also want to give a huge shout out to Warren Craval, who is plays for the Union. He's one of Kaylin Carr's dear friends, and he designed all those designs that you're seeing, especially on the back of the Black Lives Matter shirts that the coaching staff are wearing, and on the armbands. He actually designed those, and they're so. The designs are fantastic. They're meaningful. They're powerful, and I think that having it be such a visual statement is so cool, because you can't help but see it throughout the game. And just in doing that, they are keeping the conversation going. So I couldn't be more impressed and proud of the players and the league and how they've kept that going.
Absolutely. And we couldn't leave this off.
Oh my God. This
for those of you that were watching, El Tráfico, LAFC taking on the LA Galaxy the other night. ESPN was very excited to have part owner of LAFC, Will Ferrell, at halftime. And I was looking forward to it. I've interviewed Will, you've interviewed Will, and he always wants to talk X's and O's, and he impresses you with that he really knows these teams, and he knows the guys and their positions, and he knows his roster. Will Ferrell put on quite the show. Along with, I assume, his children, family in the background. He had hair out to here. Who's that character he plays in with Ben Stiller and he's got the blue hair
in Zoolander.
Zoolander.
It starts with an M. I forget the character's name. Yeah. No, it was Murga.
Anyway,
like that.
He kind of looks like that character. He ends up putting on his Talladega Nights hat, helmet about halfway through, which clearly then made LAFC just go on a tear in the second half and score a bunch of goals. I would have preferred the elf hat, but it was one of the, and his kids were like eating corn with their masks on in the background inside. It was just one of the more memorable
Memorable is one way to put it. I mean, it was so unexpected and
hilarious,
out of the box, and just so it almost felt, it just almost, yes, exactly. I was like, well, this is perfect.
Now for our AT&T call to the field, we welcome in the reigning MLS Comeback Player of the Year, one of the most exciting forwards in the game, fresh off of club appearance number 100 for the Sounders, 5 years in MLS, and 39 caps for the U.S. men's national team, Jordan Morris. Hey, Jordan.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Coming off a nice win always makes things a little better, so.
We're going to talk about that win right now. You guys, you're the defending champs. You're on to the knockout stage. After a slow start to the tournament, which we saw with so many teams, Seattle's on to the round of 16. You mentioned the win. You guys had a 3-0 win over Vancouver. What is it about the Sounders that just, you guys always come through when it matters? Do you just kind of know that it's going to work out some way or another?
I don't know. I mean, it would definitely be less stressful if we could figure it out a little bit early on. But I think I guess it's kind of been our MO a bit. And, what we, I think we have experience. I think that's a big thing when we come into big games. We have guys that have played in them before and kind of don't get overwhelmed by the moment. So I think that's kind of a big pro of our club going into big games like that.
Jordan, Jill mentioned it at the top. You're the reigning comeback player of the year. Had a wonderful season last year in 2019, coming off a couple outstanding performances here in the MLS's back tournament. Physically, can you just give us a sense of how you are feeling? What's your overall health like at this point?
Good. Yeah, good. I think obviously in terms of everything going on, I think it was a little bit of an anxious time for everyone getting here and kind of just feeling things out a bit. But that's calmed down and obviously great news with the testing in the last couple of days. No new positives or anything like that has been great. So feeling good with that. And then in terms of playing, I think obviously the first game back in 4 months playing in this weather was difficult, and I think it's almost a little bit like we had to go through a second preseason, and those first few games sometimes aren't the best. And so obviously it's not an excuse. Everyone is playing in the same weather, has dealt with the same thing. But I think you could see that with our guys who weren't quite up to speed. And I think by the third game now we were feeling good, used to the weather. And I think that definitely showed in our performance.
Appearance number 100 for the Sounders. I just want to congratulate you for that, because when you think about the fact that you had to battle injuries in 2017 and 2018, it's really incredible what you've been able to do already. So big congrats, Jordan.
Thank you.
But you mentioned an anxious time, and it's an anxious time for everyone in the entire world. But then add on top of it being asked to go somewhere with, let's decline that. Sorry. You mentioned kind of going somewhere without your family to an unknown. And then on top of that, yourself and then Vancouver's Andy Rose, you're two players that live with type 1 diabetes. So that puts you guys at a higher risk in this whole COVID-19 world that we live in. And I know you said before the tournament that you felt good about going. You spoke to your father and also the team doctor, Dr. Michael Morris. Now, as you mentioned, with over a week of 0 positive tests, how do you feel now? And did you ever consider sitting this one out?
I feel much more comfortable now. I think being here, knowing how seriously everything's being taken and just the precautions that every team is taking definitely makes me feel better. And I would definitely be lying if I said I wasn't anxious. And when I got here the first few days, definitely with the uncertainty, obviously hearing about Dallas and Nashville and that kind of led to some more anxiety. And I think, I would definitely be lying if I said at first I didn't feel that. But I never really considered sitting out or missing the tournament. I know that maybe the risk is potentially a little bit higher, but in talking with my dad and other the other medical staff that they seem to think that it wouldn't be too high of a risk. So I trusted them and obviously trusted my teammates and everyone here to keep each other safe. So definitely feeling a lot better as the time's gone on.
We love to hear that. Yeah, it seems like, the zero positives, it feels like we've gotten into a bit of a groove here,
Yeah.
and the bubble is working. It's working. It's doing exactly what they said. I know, right? Gosh, when people follow the rules, good things happen. It's great.
Crazy.
Go figure. Jordan, I know you are one of the most humble guys that I have ever come across in all of sports, which is saying something considering your talent. And I had a really interesting conversation about you with my colleague Kaylin Carr yesterday. We were talking about Seattle's big win against Vancouver. You had an incredible goal in that game, and we were talking about your evolution as a player. And he said one of the things that he loves about you and that he appreciates so much about you is that you are a player that is constantly improving. You are a guy that is constantly evolving. And we think we see the best of Jordan Morris, and then you go and do something and you alter your game. And when you came to Seattle, you were playing as a straight nine. Schmetzer had you there, and now you've kind of transitioned. You're playing a little bit out wide, and it's how do you see yourself as a player? Do you agree with Kaylin that you are a guy that is just constantly evolving? I mean, what is your perspective of yourself as a player, which I know is kind of a bizarre question, but it's one of these things that we talk about a lot. And so I want to get your take.
Yeah, no worries. I think I've always been a player that tries to learn and understands that I have a lot to continually improve on. And I think a big part of that in the last year was, like you said, kind of switching positions and obviously playing wider. I needed to focus on learning and understanding different parts of the game than maybe a nine would focus on. A big part of that was kind of getting in the final third and my crossing, finding my teammates, trying to get assists, that kind of thing, where which was a little bit different, finding myself in wide positions, my kind of one-on-one, taking defenders on, something to work on as well. So I think that switch in this last year has helped me because in training, I know I have these very specific things that I want to work on and get better at. And I think that definitely makes it easier to continue to improve as a player. But yeah, it's always my goal to continually try to improve and push forward and become the best player that I can be. And I know that I always have stuff to keep working on. So I just want to continually try to get better.
Something that I've loved watching, especially this week, has been some young Americans really having standout performances. And I'm sure Greg Berhalter, who's been in attendance, has liked watching it too. We've seen Orlando's Chris Mueller, TFC's Ayo Akinola, Houston's Memo Rodriguez, just some young Americans that have been putting on a clinic. Now that you're a little bit of a veteran, I hate to say it.
Can we say that? Oh, God.
A little bit?
Yeah, maybe.
Who's excited you? Who are some of the guys that you've watched that you're like, I wouldn't mind playing with that guy with the national team?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think all three of those guys that you mentioned have been super exciting. Obviously, Ayo with Toronto has had a couple amazing games. His strength, his speed, his finishing ability has been really, really impressive. And Chris as well and Memo as well. I think watching them, they've all done some really, really good things. And I think it's just a testament that there's a lot of great American players out there, and the talent pool is really high, and the level is really high. And so it's really exciting to see the progression of the sport in this country has been awesome, and that just shows in the talent pool. So it's great to see some young guys having really good tournaments.
The future is bright. Future is bright for U.S. soccer. Let's go. Let's go. Jordan, you guys, obviously the reigning champs, I think heading into this tournament, just based on conversations I've had with other media members, I mean, Seattle was one of the teams to watch. Seattle always seems to be one of the teams to watch. You guys have just sort of permanently established yourself in that regard. But when based solely, and I don't want you to think about big picture stuff, based solely on the performances that you have seen in the MLS's back tournament over the course of the last 2.5 weeks, who do you think is your biggest competition in this tournament?
I think it's just got to be LAFC. They've been so dynamic going forward, even missing Carlos Vela, and I think they're just so dangerous as a team. They have so many dangerous weapons. So I think every time you come up against them, it's going to be a real challenge.
I am so for seeing Seattle and LAFC.
I know. I think everyone is.
I have to ask you, Jordan, outside of the bubble, since you arrived with the Sounders in 2016, the club has gone to 3 MLS Cups. They've gotten 2 titles. Which roster do you feel like was so far the best Sounders team?
Oh man. in my time being here?
Yes.
Oh god.
Not when you were like a little Jordan.
We can't not harken on nostalgia here. Okay. Your teams, Jordan.
I mean,
this is tough.
It is tough. I think and I was hurt during this time, but that 2018 team, when they went on the 9 or 10 game win streak, it was something big like that. They were playing at a level that was so high. And I think, Victor Rodriguez, Nico, Raul, just all playing really, really well and a lot of talent on that team. So, it's hard to choose. I think every year we've had a talented team. I think 2016, we obviously had a talented team, but we worked really hard and we're just a good cohesive team. And then, we were missing Clint at the end of that year. But I think that 2018 team was really, really talented.
So basically, you've been spoiled your entire time.
I've been very lucky. We've had some good teams. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Jordan. But Jordan, I think you might have had a little bit to do with the
just
success of some of those things. Yeah. Just a tad. Is there? Okay, I love Jill and I. We talk a lot about the coaches that we that we love to interview, or coaches that kind of like intimidate us or scare us a little bit. And
Brian Schmetzer scares the both of us.
Schmetzer is one of those guys. Which, like, it sounds so. People are like, really? Yeah. Schmetzer is scary.
But it's not because he's not nice. No, he's just intimidating.
It's always
we don't know why.
It's like he's a step ahead of you in your thought. It's like he knows the question that you're going to ask before it even comes out of your mouth. And so
he's already judging you for it.
Yeah. He's gonna make me feel stupid. I'm gonna ask, oh God, Schmetz is judging me. I can't handle the pressure. Like, it's all. So can you give us a little insight into Schmetz, and like maybe something about him that like we just don't know. Maybe it's something to like ease our minds so that we're not so intimidated.
For sure. Yeah. I think he's someone that you just like, I mean, since I've been around him for so long, you get to understand his personality and mannerisms and things like that make him a little bit less intimidating. I can definitely see it at first when you're talking to him, potentially, but obviously he's a really nice guy when you get to know him. And an interesting story about Schmetz, actually, if this makes you guys feel any better, he's actually calmed down quite a bit. When I was in the academy, and even when he was an assistant in for Ziggy in Seattle, and I was in the academy, he was very tough on the young guys, like really, really tough. And he was a little bit more vocal, and I think he's had to, he's changed for in a good way and become, a very good players coach and stuff. But he was definitely a little bit tougher on the young guys back in. I mean, he still is, but I remember in the academy being pretty scared of Schmetzer, and now I'm not quite as much. So
did he ever yell at you? Did he ever like really like? Oh man,
nothing too bad, no. But I think he's definitely, since becoming a head coach, he's adjusted a little bit. So.
And Suzanne and I talk about this, and sometimes it's like it's just written all over someone's face. You go to ask the question, and maybe it's not even a question you want to ask, but you have to ask it, and you're already like, I know this is stupid or cliche, but I have to ask you the question, and you already can tell that he's gonna be like, are you kidding me? But I'll tell you this: I don't remember what year it was, but it was when he took over as head coach. You guys had a game.
2016.
You guys had a game. I don't know if it was that year, but they had a game in Dallas, and I went down to the bar to like get a drink to bring back up to my room. And I see the coaching staff like over in their table having their moment. And who shows up behind me to like make sure to pay for that beer? Brian Schmetzer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know he's nice, but it doesn't change that he doesn't intimidate us. But anyway.
For sure. I can definitely see both sides.
Moving That's adorable. On, yeah, I know. We've seen like all these crazy activities going on in the bubble, fun group dinners at some of the restaurants that are on the campus. Is there kind of something fun you've enjoyed in the bubble? Do you have a funny bubble story that you'll always remember when you look back at this crazy year?
Man, I don't know about a specific story. I guess I've been passing the time. I'm playing a lot of Fortnite with Christian and Walker. That's kind of been my bubble activity. So, I mean, spending a lot of time in my room, but that's been fun to help pass the time. Obviously, the group dinners out at the restaurants are really nice, but I think Fortnite for me is the big one.
Have you taken a ride in the Swans?
Yes. I have not yet. No, I haven't. I've seen some people out there, but I haven't.
Jordan, if you take a ride in a Swan, I would really appreciate just a little photo, because I think that would be I feel like that's like a rite of passage. You know, you got to document this time in the bubble. This is once in a lifetime stuff. Like sure. get that Swan picture.
No roommates, which I know some guys are happy about. No roommates right now, due to everything going on with COVID-19. Is Christian Roldan usually your roomie?
Yeah. Last year it was Brad Smith. He was my roommate, okay. And then but Christian's usually my roommate. So. Do
you miss having a roomie?
We both kind of talked actually, and we're kind of enjoying being having our own rooms. It's nice.
Okay. So growing up.
It's yeah, exactly. So.
Oh, Jordan, one last question from me. What's the first thing you're gonna do when you get back to Seattle? What's the one thing that you're just like, oh, I cannot wait to do this when I'm back and home?
Yeah, my fiance and I got a puppy before I left, like a couple months before I left. So she's just hanging out with her because she's growing a lot right now. So I'm excited to take her on a walk and just hang out with her. Yeah.
I get it.
Jordan Morris, thank you so much. We didn't congratulate you when you hopped on here for your recent your off-season engagement.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I know you'll be pumped if it's not another 3 weeks till you get back to that dog, guys, because the final is August 11th for the MLS is Back tournament. Jordan Morris, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jordan. Good luck rest of the way. Guys. Well, time now for AT&T Call to the Field, and for that, we bring in San Jose defender, a man of many talents, the Energizer Bunny of Major League Soccer, Tommy Thompson. How you doing, Tommy Thompson?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you guys. Thanks for having me on.
We are so excited to have you on. We've been wanting to have you on this show for a long time, but now feels like a perfect moment because San Jose has made a statement in the MLS is Back tournament. You guys win your group. And I think this is one of the feel-good stories that we've seen coming out of Orlando. So now that you've had kind of a day or two to let it sink in, think about what you guys have accomplished, what your goals are for the tournament. How did the Quakes get it done? How did you guys win this group, Tommy?
Yeah, so we knew it was going to be a challenge. I mean, starting the tournament off against the MLS Cup champions is never easy, especially because we weren't able to train as a team. up until the very end of the quarantine period. So when we came to Florida, that was our first time being back together as a group. But I think it ended up working in our favor because we came to Florida. We were the first ones here. So I think it allowed us to get acclimated to the new environment, and it allowed us to get acclimated to the weather. And as soon as the tournament started, we were ready to go.
Ever since you guys had that come from behind victory over the Whitecaps, everyone's loving Matias Almeyda. There's a lot of people jumping on the San Jose Earthquakes bandwagon. Are you here for it?
Yeah, I'm here for it. I know there was a lot of people doubting us, but we're welcoming everyone into the bandwagon. So whoever wants to hop on, we're boarding.
I want to give myself some props. I had you guys going through the whole time. So a lot of my colleagues did not. Now I did not. It's on MLSsoccer.com. It's published. I did not have you guys winning the group. I had you coming in second. So in that regard, I was wrong, but well done. It's been so much fun to watch. And kind of on that note, Tommy, we talk a lot about, in these sort of tournament, World Cup style tournament formats, there's always inevitably an underdog team, right? Or maybe several underdog teams. Do you guys think of yourselves as underdogs in the MLS's back tournament?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think we have a lot of confidence in our locker room, and we showed what we could do last year, especially the growth from 2018 to 2019. I think it was obvious for everyone to see that we were a different team, but coming short of playoffs was a tough pill to swallow for us, and I think that took us off the map a little bit when it came to expectations for the MLS's back tournament, but there's never been any doubt that our team feels like we can go toe-to-toe with anybody in this league. So going into the tournament, we were confident. We knew a lot of people weren't talking about us. They weren't getting excited about us yet, but we knew we were ready to go, and I think it showed on the field.
It totally did. And, one of the guys that's gotten a lot of credit outside of the fact that this is one of those teams that you really feel like just comes together as a team. Everyone seems to know their role and what's expected of them is, of course, your head coach, Matias Almeyda. He had definitely my favorite quote so far of the tournament. I believe he said it after your match against Vancouver, where he said, "The world is living through a difficult moment." And I'll repeat, we're playing soccer in Disney. How could we not transmit happiness from the place we're at with this chance that they give us and the way that they treat us? How inspirational is this guy?
No, he's incredible. He's an incredible leader, and he's got a unique way of bringing people together, regardless of the language you speak, regardless of the country that you come from. And that was why I started my Spanish journey at the beginning of last year, because as soon as I went to Cancun in 2019 with this group, and I saw the way that he interacted with us as a team and the way he treated us as just human beings, we were more than soccer players to him. I knew that something different was going to transpire here with our team. And I thought it was a great opportunity for me to learn from one of the best leaders I've ever came across. So he's got an incredible way of making a difference and bringing change to organizations, and it's definitely on display in this tournament.
Love it. Go ahead, Jill.
You mentioned Spanish. I really enjoyed during our long MLS break, you and Almeyda hopping on Instagram Live and kind of having like a Spanglish back and forth conversation. Matias practicing his English, your Spanish. Is that something you kind of like so many of us learned in high school and now you're kicking it up a notch, or did you really dive into the books? Like, how did you get your Spanish to the next level to be able to hold an Instagram Live with your coach?
Yeah, that was a special experience. But going into 2019, I didn't speak any Spanish. I had been on teams with Spanish speakers like Anibal Godoy or Matias Perez Garcia, but I was never able to connect with them on that level and speak to them in their own language. But like I said, once Matias came in and I saw the opportunity to be able to learn from someone who is just such a proven leader in different leagues across the world, it was just too good of an opportunity for me to pass up. And so in that trip to Cancun, that first preseason trip, going into it, I didn't speak anything, but I spent like 30 to 40 hours on Duolingo over that 2-week span. And I came back from that trip ready to speak in interviews. And
You're a genius. How did you pick it up that fast? I'm so jealous. Is it all Duolingo, or what else are you using? Please help me.
It was all Duolingo, but then I have a unique opportunity with this locker room. There's a lot of different bilingual speakers, and we have a full-time translator as well. So I'm just constantly asking guys, oh, should I say it in this way? Should I say it in that way? What does this word mean? Why did he use that in that way? And so over the course of just, almost a year and a half now, it's allowed me to get to the point where I can have, an hour-long conversation with Matias. But even just a couple of weeks after that first trip, after that first trip, I was ready for interviews.
Tommy, it's not fair, okay? Because you are seemingly one of these guys that you're just kind of like good at anything you try. If y'all paid attention during this quarantine situation, Tommy was a contestant on MLS Idol and showed off your piano playing skills and your vocal chops, and it was so good. And you dance, you sing, you play instruments, you do it all. So has there been anything? I'm just wondering what you have added to your repertoire, perhaps in this bubble situation. Like, have you picked up any new skills since you've been there?
Yeah, so that's an interesting point that you bring up. That
I'm good at everything.
The piano and the dancing, that actual concept of like that repetition to learn how to do a skill is why I was able to pick up Spanish so fast.
Wow.
Because it's actually really similar. Like the way I learned piano off YouTube was very similar to how I learned Spanish off Duolingo. And so it's basically just a process that you got to learn how to do. And it's paid off so far. But during the quarantine period, I'd say the skill I learned how to do was I learned how to coach kids online. And that was a completely new experience. And that was my new project, building up my YouTube channel and then using it to coach kids across the U.S. So that was my quarantine project.
Real quick before I ask you a serious question, Almeyda, long hair or short hair?
Yeah, good one.
That's a good one. I do like it with the short because we've had such a great string of results, Okay. So I'm starting to get used to it, but I mean it's hard to say no to the long hair.
What was your reaction when you saw that he had buzzed it? Because I about had a heart attack.
I missed the flow.
I was definitely surprised. Surprised, but I knew that he saw the quarantine period coming and he wasn't gonna be able to go to the hairdresser. So I imagine he was just thinking ahead like he always does.
Let's talk about someone else that impresses people. Chris Wondolowski. 161 goals. He's got 2 in this tournament. At 37, he's the oldest player to have back-to-back goals. This could be Tommy Thompson at 37. It really could. Like, going forever because, like, he's going to practice some new skill and it's going to give him longevity. Who the heck knows? But how does Wondo do it? And is there anything Wondo is bad at?
Yeah, Wondo is an anomaly. I mean, he's
literally.
I've been playing with him for 7 years now, and I still can't quite figure out how he does it. But he's actually my roommate on road trips. Unfortunately, now.
Stop it.
Yeah, he is.
Oh God, that's too much smarts. I think.
I know. I can't handle the talent.
Yeah. So now, obviously, in the bubble, you don't have a roommate, so we're not roommates right now. But normally, like all throughout last year and the year before, any away game, we'd be bunking together, which was fun. But no, he's an incredible player, incredible person, and it's unbelievable what he's doing right now.
I am going to assign you for the common good of the world to find out Wondo's secret. Mm-hmm.
If I had to guess, I think it comes from his will to win. I mean, his will to win is unbelievable. And it doesn't matter if we're playing darts, if we're doing like a 66 tournament, if we're just like betting on something random.
So he's like Michael Jordan, you're telling me.
Yes, exactly. There's a lot of similarities to Michael Jordan in that Last Dance documentary.
It becomes personal to Wondo.
This is personal. I'm going to smash this header in the back of the net because it's personal.
Right.
Gosh darn it.
Straight.
Tommy, one of the things that people have talked about in regards to the San Jose team, especially in this tournament that has been sort of highlighted, is the depth. When you look at the substitutions that have been made in these games, and now that there are you're able to use 5 subs, and see these guys coming on, and it is so apparent how deep this San Jose team is. No matter who the starting 11 is, there's always going to be people like Wondo who can come in and be game changers. How much confidence does that give you guys? How much is that going to help you continue this run in the MLS's back tournament?
Yeah, so it gives us a ton of confidence. And going back to that 2019 trip to Cancun, he told us, it was one of the first things that he said. He says, everyone on this team is going to run and everyone on this team is going to play. That's his mantra. And he's kept that mentality consistent all throughout the season last year and now the season this year. So everyone on this team believes that when they step on the field, they're ready to go. And everyone understands their role. Everyone understands the system. So we're ready to go. Whether someone's starting or subbing in, everyone's excited to contribute. And like he says, everyone needs to bring their grain of sand. And so far, so good.
Let's go on to the evolution of San Jose. 2018 finished bottom of the table, and you mentioned 2019 so many times, like going back to that preseason trip. It really felt like the beginning of a rebirth for the Quakes. But ultimately, San Jose last year kind of missed the playoffs after all that buildup. You just got this feeling that the team was out of gas. Is that fair to say? And how do you guys make sure that this year's a little bit different? Like, why will 2020 be one notch better?
Right. It's a good question. And for us, the last 6 games of last year were really disappointing. But the way I see it is that in every single one of those games, we were in it. And things didn't go our way. There's a couple different things that happened that we have to clean up, and that's mistakes with and without the ball. But I think if we keep that same mentality, especially throughout that summer period, we showed what we can do. And so for us, we have to just keep that same mentality and continually believing in our system and what our team is capable of. And I think we showed it against Vancouver with the comeback, and I think we definitely showed it against Chicago as well. So we're excited for the next game, and we can't wait for the round of 16.
All right, Tommy, I have another question for you, and I feel like we're all friends here, right? Like you're going to keep it real with us when I ask you this question, because one of the things that Jill and I have talked about as we've watched all of these games is the level of sweat that we have seen within literally like a couple minutes of the match starting, even in warmups. I mean, guys are just it's streaming down their face. It was most noticeable for the Miami players, I think, because their kits were white, and you guys have the white kits
like a
too.
wet
It's like
contest.
It literally was like a wet t-shirt contest. How sweaty and how hot is it? Like, is it being accurately depicted?
And don't give us that. Well, everybody's in it. We want to know.
Yeah,
how
no,
gross is
I
it?
want to know like how gross it is, how you feel after the game, how many jerseys you're bringing to the bench to change. Like, give us the real scoop here.
Yeah, no, it's a question that needs to be asked, because even sometimes when I'm watching the games, I'm looking at the players. I'm like, wow, is that how we look like?
Yes, the answer is yes.
That's incredible. But no, it's definitely an element that we're not used to, like playing in this type of humidity. Mm-hmm. That was a huge reason why we came to the bubble so early. Like I said earlier, we were the first team here because we had to get acclimated. But what's crazy is that the games that you guys are seeing are at night, or early in the morning.
Right.
But we had a number of sessions where we were playing up until like 12:30 p.m. And those sessions was just a different level. Like we had guys like taking off their socks and like wringing them out.
Oh!
Like we had guys even like changing their shorts like mid practice. Like it was so sweaty and so hot.
I can't imagine what that bus is like back to the showers. I really can't.
By the end of the practice, it felt like you had just jumped in a pool. And so, like, running around in your shoes, it just felt like you're almost wading in water.
Do you lose any weight, though? Have you weighed yourself?
Yeah, well, we do a good job with the rehydration. You definitely lose weight after practice. Like, there's guys losing,
I could get down with that.
pounds. Yeah. Like
Get
over 5 pounds after practice. But yeah, no, I by the end of the practice during the day, you just hear the squishing. And it feels like you're playing underwater soccer. So once we got through that, the games didn't feel as bad.
We want a little info, a little insight as to the secrets of the bubble. So first off, we've seen a lot of golf, some mini golf and some real golf. Who is the best golfer?
Yeah, we just got off the golf course. Chris Wondolowski is for sure
the old man.
Yeah, of course. He's got it down. Of course, he's got that down.
Big surprise. Who makes the best poolside playlist? Like, who's bringing the good tunes?
That's me.
You have like some Spanish and some English songs in there?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. We got everything. We even got Dutch songs in the rotation now.
Who knows all the shows to watch? Who's got like all the binge-worthy recommendations?
That's Goram Kasha.
It's funny. I didn't think of that. Who is the guy that's hitting the gym at 5 a.m. even when you guys don't have to wake up that early?
That's Nick Lima and JT Marcinkowski. Both of my roommates actually back in San Jose. They're always in the gym, always working out.
Making us look bad.
Louise. Who's the biggest gamer on the team?
Biggest gamer? That's a tough one. That's also Vako and Goram Kasha. They play NBA 2K together. They're always on it.
I love that. And then I just have one last question, Tommy. What is one thing about life in the bubble that people may not know?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm not sure if it's been communicated through the media. I haven't been following it too closely, but it's actually been a really positive experience for us. And it's like what Matias said about being in Disney and being like the characters, like somos los personajes. Like, we really do feel like that, and to have our own floor of the hotel and to be here bringing so much happiness to all the people in San Jose and across the U.S. I mean, it's a special opportunity for us. And I don't know how well that has been communicated to the media, but I just want to say that
it hasn't been communicated all that well. I'll tell you that. So, Tommy, thank you for telling us that. You know what? And also, I think a positive attitude goes a long way.
Yeah. So that, I would say, is something that people don't know about the bubble, is that we've really enjoyed it.
That's so beautiful.
Oh, Tommy Thompson, thank you. You've made us so very happy. You're the best. Honestly, good luck the rest of the way. We're totally cheering for you guys. You've been so much fun to watch, and thank you for the time. Gotta love Tommy Thompson, and you gotta love the San Jose Earthquakes and what they are doing in this tournament. And on that note, it is time for What's on Tap, Jillian Sakovitz. And
what is on tap?
What is on tap? And I'll tell you what, because a lot of people are looking for a team to get behind in this tournament. And I'm saying, coming off of that Tommy Thompson interview, especially, get behind the Quakes. That can be your team of the tournament.
He's okay with the bandwagoners, so
totally,
no shame.
He is inviting you. He is inviting you along on this crazy journey that they are on, and they are so fun. So, have you seen their celebrations, Jill? After
can I tell you my favorite one?
Yes.
So, it's hot as heck, as Tommy told us, and you made sure to get that question in, which I thank you for. But we're missing the fans, and instead of like the smoke going up, I think it's like an assistant coach or the kit guy. He takes the cooling spray and is like this,
going nuts with it.
Down. And yeah, he's jumping up and down like a supporter, but he's got the cooling spray. That went wild on Twitter. This is just a team that you feel like is fun to be a part of. You got that feeling from Tommy Thompson and talking to him that this is kind of like the college dorms again. Like, they are bonding. They are feeling good. They believe in their leadership. They're having fun, and they're stringing wins together. Yep. So looking ahead, guys, and what's next, the San Jose Quakes, they're what's next.
Don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on them. They are a team that you can absolutely get behind. And
the same Heineken 0-0.
Exactly. The same way that they celebrate with the Magic Spray, Jill and I celebrate with Heineken 0-0. Cheers to that.
Cheers. I need to make a clink.
Watch San Jose. I know. Let's see. What can I clink? There we go. It's not the same. It's not the same.
I can't see you.
Guys, we have so much. So there's going to be so much more soccer to talk about. And we are so grateful for you guys listening and tuning in. Just think about all the fun stuff we're going to have to talk about the next episode. Jill.
Guys, knockout. We learned in the 2019 playoffs, knockout stage is no joke. You are in for weeks of knockouts.
Anything can happen.
Get ready. We'll have so much to talk about next. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, Suze.
Cheers.